showing a scientific lab where experiments were being conducted on some spiders. Something was being injected into them. Why? And then they were placed in a box labeled NASA. This means that it is possible that these scientists want to send these spiders into space and conduct some experiments there. In the very next scene, we see that indeed a spaceship is being launched, which means what I told you was absolutely correct. The scene changes, and we see a senior student from a college who used to write articles for the newspaper and prepare some reports for her campus. Her name is Marcy. She learns that a couple has come to meet her. When she goes to them, the couple starts talking about quite strange things. Like we are aliens, like we have come to this planet. At first, Marcy doesn't believe their words, so she starts asking them more questions, like, okay, where are you from? And she also shows them a photograph. It was some kind of cassette, and there was also a military base there. Seeing this, the husband in the couple becomes quite scared and tells Marcy, no, not again. I don't even want to see this place. He was very frightened, and the couple becomes quite distressed. Marcy finds this very strange. Marcy immediately goes to her editor and tells him everything, saying that the couple is claiming the military base is quite strange. They started sweating just by looking at it. So the editor tells Marcy to use her common sense. How are there aliens? They are creating drama to get famous and appear in news, and you should cover news that is worth it. Scientists are going to space for spider experiments. You should cover that. Marcy says, no, I don't know who these people are, yo. I'm not going to cover this news. What experiment can't be done on Earth? For that, you have to go to space. Martina leaves from there. The conversation with that couple was still on her mind. She contacts her friends. She tells them that they will head towards that military base, meaning DS. Both of them were male, and one of them was named Flick. Her friends tell Marcy, what interest do you have in going there? So Marcy says, think about it. There's so much security around it. And the way that couple got scared after seeing this picture, it seems strange to me. What's wrong with going and checking it out? And they start heading in that direction, all of them in their jeep. On the other hand, we are shown clips of the spaceship. The spaceship had already launched today, and at the same time, they were injecting something into the spiders. However, the area they were passing through had a lot of sunlight. An error occurs in the spaceship system and it starts to crash. As it crashes, it falls into the test area, where Marcy and her friends were. The spaceship is completely destroyed, and obviously the people inside it would not have survived either. Marcy and her friends become quite anxious and go over to check it out. Smoke was coming from the spaceship, and it was very hot. When Marcy checks it, she finds that all the people inside are dead, but the strange thing was that they didn't look like normal humans. They seemed like some other kind of creatures because their bodies were swollen, disfigured, their faces were distorted, and some of their bodies were badly torn open. The ship's captain was still alive and was making some movements. Mars and her friends go to him, but they were obviously scared that something might happen to them. However, before anything could happen, a rescue team arrives along with some scientists, so Mars and her friends have to flee from there because they had come without permission. They go and hide in an army truck. But then we see a spider crawling on the body of the living captain. The female spider lays an egg in his body, and at that moment, the leader of this project, who was overseeing it, arrives there. As he is entering the spaceship, his foot lands on the spider. The spider laid an egg in the captain's body. It was crushed quite badly. But his companion tells him to put it in a plastic bag so they can research it. Then they plan to explore the spaceship, to ensure that nothing like an infection can escape, and no one finds out that their project has failed. People will just think that something happened in space, but those dead bodies had already been removed from the spaceship. And now, do you know where they were putting these dead bodies? In an army truck where Mars was hidden. Mars felt quite disgusted, because they had already seen how bad those dead bodies were, and there was also a risk of infection. Now these people take their truck to a lab located under the same army base and are calmly extracting all the scientists and dead Boris. But the three of them, meaning Mars and his friends, are hiding there. And when those people move around, they sneak out and hide somewhere else. Now there, some scientists extract the captain and take him to a lab, but as soon as they reach the lab, everyone is shocked. Everywhere, quite strange creatures were preserved. Some humans were also preserved there, along with some strange creatures that looked like aliens. The captain was laid there, who was still alive. Marcy goes to him and talks to him, and he was in a very strange condition. He says that you need to escape from these people. You all should run away from here. Marcy had taken photographs of everything present in that lab. She now really had proof of how strange this army base was. The way the captain was speaking, no one could understand any of his words. So, Marcy says, "Oh, what are you saying?" But at that moment, a strange and quite large spike comes out of the captain's mouth. Marcy starts running with him, and hearing this noise, the other scientists also come there. But the spider was very fast. It tries to attack all of them and starts throwing its web at them. It kills one of the scientists and starts chasing the other scientist. Marcy and his friend barely managed to escape from there, and that dangerous spider had already killed the female scientist. Meanwhile, Marcy and his friend were hiding in a room. At that moment, the head of the place also arrives there. When he sees that the captain and the scientist have been killed, he becomes very angry. He orders his soldiers to capture and kill the spider, by any means necessary. Certainly. Meanwhile, Marcy and his friend make their way out of there. They go to a place where there are stairs and a lot of spider webs. Marcy says, "There must be a spider here too." Just then a spider appears. It attacks Marcy and Slick's other companion. It bites his leg, so Slick punches the spider and knocks it down the stairs. The three of them are sitting scared when they see a room with "project" written outside. Marcy and her companion go inside and see that many spiders are preserved in different jars. It might be for several experiments, so the three of them start checking the place. Marcy and Slick's other companion is very good. He hacks the computer there. While Marcy is checking various things, she finds a photograph. She is absolutely shocked to see that it was completely mailed to her. The person who had taken the picture of this place was an alien, as he called himself, an alien. Now Marcy's computer had been hacked. These people look at the information there. They were experimenting on spiders, as they laid eggs inside humans, and eggs filled the body. They acted like parasites, and what they were doing with the spiders was nothing but alien cells, and they were taking them to space so that experiments could be conducted on them in the alien environment. Now, as they were observing this, another strange piece of information came to them, which was that the spiders were extremely venomous. If they bite someone even once, it becomes very difficult for that person to survive. Now, Marcy and Slick's friend becomes quite worried because he had been bitten by the spider. He starts to panic because he knew his condition was deteriorating rapidly and he might never recover, and it would only be considered soon. He tells them that he will not spare this spider now and goes out to kill it. But as soon as he gets there, his body starts to deform and swell. Marcy and Slick, quite worried, follow him, but find that their friend is not there. Only his glasses and a lot of blood are spread around. This meant that he was killed. Now Marcy and Slick were quite scared and wanted to get out of there as soon as possible, so they see an elevator, meaning a lift, and they get into it to go up, but the lift stops midway. Now they start climbing the stairs on the backside of the lift. But as they reach the top, they encounter a very large spider. It was much larger compared to the other spiders. These people get quite scared and they fall down where there are a lot of spiders and they get trapped in it. In the meantime, the spider comes down. Yes, it happens to attack both of them, but Marcy somehow manages to get out of the web. But poor Slick was still in the web. Marcy is trying to save him, but Slick says, "You go before the spider comes here and kills both of us." Marcy didn't want to leave Slick alone there, but she had to save her own life. So she leaves, and the spider comes there and attacks Slick, killing him. On the other hand, at the army base, soldiers are searching for the spider, as ordered by the head, to bring it back either alive or dead. However, they can't find the spider anywhere, as it is stealthily killing all the soldiers. Now the person in charge of the project is also searching for the spider when he suddenly notices Marcy. He asks Marcy, "Wait, who are you?" But Marcy runs away from there. Now the in-charge, that is the project leader, stops chasing her. He calls out to her several times, but Marcy doesn't even want to look at him, otherwise she would get caught. However, the in-charge eventually catches Marcy, and they have quite a fight. Marcy wanted to escape from there, but he wasn't letting her go, and he was also surprised about how she got there. During the fight, both of them fall into the water, which was in some kind of pit. A spider also arrives there, which attacks the in-charge, but Marcy somehow manages to save herself and get out. She picks up a rod lying nearby and injures the in-charge with it. Marcy had saved the life of the in-charge, that is the leader here, The leader, Nick, is quite impressed with her, and both of them escape from there. Now the head of this project starts paying more attention to them. He asks the in charge what he is doing with this girl. In fact, he knew about Marcy and used to hate her a lot, because Marcy used to write many articles against him in the newspaper, and the head did not like this at all. He was quite a bad person, and in anger, he tells Marcy that he's glad he found her, and now he won't let her live, so she can't write against him again. He points a gun at her and is about to shoot when Spider comes back there. He wraps his web around his stomach, and now the head was wrapped inside the web of this project, and Spider takes advantage of this by laying her eggs inside his body. This means that now the head's body was also going to deform and he was going to die. Now Marcy and the project in charge are running away from there. They go straight into the elevator and start going upwards. But somehow Spider had already reached below the lift and starts breaking it from underneath. After this, he could have come inside too, but the in-charge gets an idea and presses the ground floor button in the lift, causing the lift to start going down. And because of this, the spider present below gets completely crushed. A lot of nasty fluid comes out of it. Now somehow both of them manage to get out of the place. Now both of them were finally outside this creepy lab, and they reach the army base. They see that the head of this project was still alive and was sitting on a chair. Massive asks, "How are you alive? The spider had bitten you and laid eggs in your body." So he says that nothing can happen to me. I am strong, but the poor guy didn't know that he couldn't survive. He starts vomiting blood, meaning he begins to format, and at the same time, spider legs start emerging from his body, and suddenly, a big spider bursts out of his body. Mars, the in-charge, starts running away from there and joins the people, who are fleeing. That spider was also chasing them. Now the people outside get quite scared seeing such a big spider, because having such a large spider was not a normal thing, and the spider starts attacking them. The spider was viciously attacking those people with its teeth. Mars, the project in charge, spots something, which was a rocket launcher that emitted a very strong fire. When he shoots at the spider, his aim misses. Now Mars, the in-charge, gets into the helicopter which belonged to the project head, Mashan, because from above he could clearly see where the spider was going. Now they locate the people and take their helicopter close to them. Now Mars herself picks up a rocket launcher and starts attacking the spider by shooting at it, but before she can do so, the spider attacks the helicopter. Due to this impact, Mars falls down, but fortunately she had tied a rope to herself with the helicopter, which saves her from falling. Mars does not lose courage at all and shoots at it again. And finally, Mars's aim hits the spider, causing the spider's body to explode. Mars and the in-charge are very happy. Mars cheers with joy, and with this the movie ends here.